You know how earlier this night we were at the question, which is more broken, Seraphine or Zilean, and the answer was Damwon Kia?
Yeah.
Okay. Tonight,
now we get to answer the real question.
We will get to answer the real question, which is what is more broken, Seraphine or Hecarim and Zilean? I'm not. You laugh, but like legitimately, I feel like the Hecarim, it's such an insanely disgusting pick right now because we saw like what happened to Teddy's health in the final team fight.
Yeah, man.
That was just a full tank Hecarim jumping on top of him without a speed boost, without a chrono break that he's definitely getting this time. But on the flip side, T1's composition, they're somewhat gated by Kenna having his Magnar available, but they can actually team fight, right? Like this is a composition that actually can make it work. And I do think that in terms of priority and early game prowess, this composition from Afrika is a little bit weaker. On the flip side, I think the skirmishing, especially with Sylas and Hecarim, if they find an early lead again, they can be super oppressive. How these games have gone thus far, I think this is going to be fireworks. I don't think this is going to be over soon. I think we're in for, as they say, a banger.
Yes, well, no need for the hashtag LiveEvil on that one, because Bang is now back in Korea, taking on his former teammate Faker in that mid lane.
I didn't even mean it as like a bang pun.
But it always is.
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. We respect that. As Keen also with another decent matchup there towards the top side of the map. We saw for Kingen, didn't quite work out. But we've seen Keen win this matchup before. Not this year, necessarily, because he hasn't been playing very much of the Sylas. But this is something that, you know, he used to be very good at. Sylas went through a bunch of changes. Now making a little bit of a resurgence, as we can see. And now Dread is just going to be so enabled on this map. Having Encores on both sides of the Rift as well, I think really does level the playing field just a little bit more.
It does to a certain extent. However, I feel that while the Encore is like, it's a super good ultimate, and you basically have, I guess you have two, right? Because Kench is useless. Udyr is self-explanatory, like doesn't do anything.
Turn into a Phoenix. Hell
yeah. And I'm going to be honest, I don't actually know how it works when you steal the Aphelios ultimate, if you just get like...
You don't get to follow up with anything,
no,
so
but
it just does a bit of stuff.
Yeah, and then, but also like what... you don't get any of the effects, right?
Yeah, I feel like you steal the guns that he has at the time, and that's what's going to do it.
Like that...
But often it's about like the follow-up cues and things like that.
Exactly, or like a Gravitum, right, or an Infernum to just like shred through people or lock them down. That's not going to be the case, so you're looking at two ultimates. However, I think that...
Look at this, like, Fly he's another one of our Zilean boys. You saw that, 66% win rate. That ain't bad. Fake is 100% so far on the Seraphine, so that's definitely good news. Teddy in a similar position. Canna the only one that's not 2-0 outside of Carrier, I guess, but he hasn't actually played any of the Kench so far today. So far this season, I tell a lie.
It makes sense, because why would you put a beautiful playmaker like Carrier on Kench?
True.
Answer is, generally you don't want to, but in this scenario, I completely get it. What you want to do as T1 is just lane king them in the early game and just deny Afrika their first 10 minutes of the game. You don't actually need to do anything. I'm not even joking. Like,
I'm glad we brought that
don't lose
that graphic down, because Bang's win rate on the Kai'Sa definitely not something that we want to be talking about as Fly. Trying to get over here and get back into this lane. Currently about half health, as Faker has been punishing him just a little bit. And this might be a very different look to what we saw in our first series of the night, where we were seeing a lot of this Zilean, especially in that first game into the Seraphine.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I think Dread has had, we've talked about this a lot, but has had a beautiful developmental curve over the course of the season, right? Like, he's gone from can pop off on Olaf and is generally like okay to legitimately hard carrying in some fashion the early game, or in the last game, the late game, right? Like, not the whole game, unfortunately, because that's more of an Afrika problem, but he's been super consistent, he's been super good, and I love to see. However, he's no Canyon, because no one is Canyon, because Canyon is the best player, arguably, in the entire world, but definitely the best player in the jungle or on the LCK, and his Hecarim is in a league of its own. So I wonder to what extent Dread is going to have the same impact here. Oh, but this went very wrong the last time.
Yeah, a little bit dangerous, but Fly's just going to speed himself up. He'll be absolutely fine, currently only behind a little bit.
I like this. This is good. This is what you need to do, right? Udyr wins the early duel. You can get into trouble if you don't have prior in your lanes with Teddy and Carrier. they have control of the wave, right? They're moving up. They've been aggressive ever since level 1, which is great, considering the weakness of Alistar in that position. And Cuz is actually allowed to use that.
Yeah. A lot of priority given over to the Udyr, which is exactly what you need, right?
Yeah.
Top side of the map as well. Canna is really putting on a clinic against this Sylas so far. Takes a little bit before the Sylas does do what he's intended to do in this matchup. As, it's continuing to go not so good for Kane, who doesn't have a lot of mana either, as Dread's going to make his way and look to try and save this one. Ooh, misses the abduct, unfortunately, but Canna now still trying to get out, not going to be able to. Dread's going to grab that first blood, and the horse off to a great start.
And it's a false sense of security, because look what we see here. We see the ward there in the jungle, and then we also see the vision. So Canna felt like he had the opportunity to just shove up that wave. Clearly not the case.
Well, now Cuz making his way in, wanting to try and deny this, but not going to be able to. Dread actually just having a pretty good time right now. Gives him the good old thumbs up, and Cuz is like, well, I got you out of the jungle. But doesn't really do too much. Hecarim getting any sort of advantage is just so frightening here.
There is one big difference, and this is a pick we've talked about a lot tonight, a similar vein to the Tristana, which is Cuz.
Okay. Yeah, Kane just going to be fighting him here as Canna made his way back towards the top side. Cuz not too worried about this. He has Franklin form, he'll be fine.
Which is, Tristana has this as well, and I feel like Tristana, like, she was really popular as a counter pick to Kai'Sa initially, but she wasn't as high prio, whereas in something like the LPL, she just basically gets permanently banned.
Yep.
Which is where we're getting at as well, so I like that because...
Okay, that's a flash in from Carrier, but not going to be able to find the Devour onto Lehens.
Okay.
Still, you trade flashes, I guess, but there is Hex Flash available for Lehen, so maybe not quite as punishing.
It's not. Although I do feel like at least in pre-6, like you now have a window where you can, if you want to, you can go for a gank, right? You can play a little bit more aggressive, so that's nice. But basically, wow, Teddy is just getting plates, and so is Canna on top side. And that is a double the CS that we see here. So
yeah.
Yes, the ganks kind of helped, but when it comes to actual pressure, T1 is winning in 2 out of 3 lanes. I guess the jungle, they also have a lead thanks to the early game pressure. So as a whole, this is already looking much more stable. And again, T1, just run out the clock. You don't actually need to do anything. That's okay.
Let's have a look at this one more time. It's just pretty elementary, to be honest. Dread just comes in and Canna flashes. Abduct doesn't matter, because there's no way you're peeling yourself away from this horse.
I think
very easy kill.
I think Keen was like preemptively throwing for like an over-the-wall flash, if he would like hop flash.
If he went for it.
Which, I mean, imagine if that happened. That would have been
pretty
real
dope.
sick. Yeah, that would have been amazing. Not the case. And the one big difference that we see last time, and the reason why if a Freaks want to go again for an aggressive early Herald play like they have done the last couple of games, is that this time you will get punished, because Teddy has Berserker Grease, will walk up to your turret and like take at the very least 2 plates, possibly more. And that's a big difference with the previous game. And considering the form of Teddy has been within this series, and honestly just in general, outside of that one solo kill...
Oh, Calibrum up now, as it already had the Crescendum, stacking up these Chakrams, as you can see. Teddy getting control of this lane right now, but banging the hens, giving a lot of respect over. As Carrier just wandering around, will end up at least giving over the cannon to Teddy. It does feel like a bit of a waste of Carrier's talents, to be honest, being on Tahm Kench's duty. But he did a lot when he was playing alongside Deft as well. Sometimes, you know, it just has to happen, right? Even good old Khan on his Scion duty in a lot of his games. It's not exactly what you want to see from a guy that was so good at things like Jace and Fiora. But still, they win a lot of games with it.
If you're a true top laner, you appreciate the sign. You stand there and you're useful. That's all you need to do. You know, be big, be beefy, and T1, they're going for this Herald, and Lance maybe thinking about roaming. Fight could break out here.
Yep, Fly moving on over. Faker coming in as well, should be able to make it. As these bombs over in the area. Carrier doesn't have the Abyssal Voyage up, so he's probably not going to make it so far. 3v3. There's Bang still on the bottom side of the map. Teddy's rotating up. Keen picks up a Gnar. There's the big old Gnar into the wall as they're trying to take down Faker. The Encore goes completely wide as Cuz steals away the Rift Herald, and Teddy's just killing lehenz in the mid lane somehow. Good wallop there as Kane is going to get taken down. And remember, this is a fight where the ulti from the Seraphine goes completely wide, but it does not matter. T1 just in a better position to take the fight.
That's a zoning ultimate.
Oh, yeah.
You can get away with that. All jokes aside, it's the rest of T1 that plays it beautifully there. I think that Keen had the right idea, and that's a really high reward play if it does work out, where he goes in, steals the Mega Gnar, and slams him into the wall. However, the problem is, and this is something that we didn't see as much with the Zillion last time, is that your early game damage, if you don't have the double bomb, and even if you do, is not particularly great. Like, look at his itemization. He has a Doran's Ring, Tear, and Boots.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the damage that you need, right? And the Hecarim, at this point in time, while strong, doesn't have the base movement speed and the pressure. So what you see here is that there isn't actually enough damage to immediately take them out. Fake also uses the shield on himself, and then all of a sudden, like, your entire combos have been used. And then Kana is still in Mega Gnar form, and this is also the value of the Mega Gnar, right? Like the resistances that you get, you're basically unduelable. Silas is a melee laner.
Yeah, Faker's just under the turret and he's dead. Bang just pops his passive. Not sure how that happened, but just a bit of a headbutt pole, and Faker's dead. Wasn't a teleport, just wandered down there, saw the minion wave,
and died.
Oh.
Interesting.
Okay. Sometimes you come back from a replay and a thing happens. As we see a thing from earlier. This was lehenz getting caught out.
Ah, yeah. So he engaged with Teddy. Teddy eats him up.
Eat him.
And then Teddy's like, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Really appreciate that. Very nice of you. Okay, yeah, so it's just a nice roam while I play from lehenz while Faker gets greedy.
Yep. And bang, Killer Instinct's in.
Okay.
So it's just a little bit too easy. A little bit unfortunate, but sometimes there's a cow.
Sometimes there is a cow. This is actually lehenz has been, I think, in conjunction with Dread, has been like one of the bright spots on this roster, right? I feel like in the beginning of the split it was a little bit rough, but he's really found himself over the course of this. Oh no, not again.
Yeah, Dread's looking for Faker. Fly already has about a 20 CS advantage over the Seraphine right now. Is Dread not quite sure where he is. He decided that he didn't want to go for this one whatsoever. Mountain Drake available. Been up for a while, actually. We're about to tick towards 12.
It's 11 minutes. T1 says completely okay. Take that one if you want to. We're fine with that. No problem. Also, I think that the Rift Herald was used on the mid lane because there's 2 plates gone there.
Yes,
but we didn't
and the money was given over to Teddy as well.
There you go. Did we get to? Did I just completely miss that? Did we get to see
that?
that?
We did see it.
Oh, there you go. No shame on me.
Yep, that's all right. I got you back. That's why there's 2 of us. You can focus on other things. And to be honest, like, let's be real. You analyst types generally cast off the minimap and nothing else anyway, so I don't blame you for missing what's happening in the mid lane.
Sometimes, yes. Analyst types?
Yeah.
Does that include the Veld analyst?
Of course, yes. And the Atlanalist, if he ever comes around.
Oh my god. Yeah. I've heard the tales.
Yes, well, I did start my career as an analyst. There's a reason why I didn't last very long. Mainly probably because I was just teamfight play calling anyway.
Who had that conversation with you?
Beg your pardon?
Who had that conversation? Who told you maybe you should be a play-by-play? Or was it just you yourself?
Oh no, I started off as a play-by-play, and then when I began my career with Riot in 2014, the other caster that I was casting with was also a play-by-play, and I was the one that sort of bit the bullet and decided to do some color.
Oh,
yeah, cool. That's sort of how it worked. And then that stopped.
But he is still there.
I mean, theoretically, as carrier, he might not be, as he has a lot of great health. That's a lot of teleports as well. Good exhaust onto Dread as carrier. He can still get a lot of value here as Canna just gets back. The Phalanx has been reformed. Chrono Shift is very good, but unfortunately, the Silas now finds himself in a very rough situation. Now dueling Teddy. If he gets another Kingslayer, and he does, he might be okay, but no, not going to be enough. As Cuz got devoured as well, he's going to be safe in T1. This is what happens, right? This was exactly the value that Seraphine wants to get.
It's already starting, Atlas. Like, we're not even 15 minutes in, and you start to see the value of the Seraphine coming in here. But it's also impeccable play and response from T1. What we saw there was Teddy and Carrier just, I want to see those Devourers again, because normally Tahm Kench is not a pick where you go like, oh man, Tahm Kench, cool interactive gameplay, what a lot of skill oppression on that one. But in this scenario, it's actually the case. And then the immediate response with a double teleport, and then all of a sudden, instead of a gank with a possible counter gank, this turns into a straight up 5v5, right? And this is the dream for T1, because they don't actually get on top of Teddy. Teddy is fine, uses Graviton to zone away, and then here we get the ultimate, finds two people combined with the CC that Kana provides while he's frontlining. And sure, the health bars go low, but the only one getting attacked here are the front line of T1. It's Cuz, Kana, and Carry are taking damage. Sure.
Oh, and Cuz, how did he sub Carrier coming in with the absolute save? Just beautiful. As Kana might be in trouble. Yes, he's just going to be taken down here as Keen still tanking that turret. One more. And Chrono Shift comes out, but not actually quite going to be enough as Lehens may just die. There's a flash smite from Cuz. It's like, if you don't have any ranged abilities, use all your summoner spells. Beautiful.
Bear smite.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. I figured it out. Right. Every time we get back from a replay, someone on T1 dies.
Well, Bang gonna have to flash because I needed to respect the Devour. Teddy's on the bottom side of the map, and he's just taking down turrets, feeling very good. Currently almost 20 CS in the lead. Untouched on the Aphelios is a very scary prospect, and maybe sometimes you don't need a Thresh because you've got Devour, you've got Seraphine to do all of her Seraphine things. Faking now with his tier largely stacked, as well as a stopwatch sitting in his back pocket, and his Moonstone completed.
It's not often we see the Kench unbenched, but when he does, in a position like this, you know, it's working out decently well, and Kana so close to surviving this. Unfortunately, 4 people is a little bit overkill if you're Mega
Yeah, so close to getting his Mega Gnar too.
Exactly. If you do get, you know, the Mega Gnar here, then you knock him into the wall and Cuz finds 3 kills. But not really working out. I mean, you can choose here as well as Cuz, right? You can smite both.
Yeah.
He went for Keen. It's personal, I'll have you know.
It was very, very amusing. Getting a little bit of revenge for his top laner. It was, of course, Keen did get taken down by Dread earlier on. But I'm a bit worried, Chronicler. Like, the only good thing here for Afrika at the moment is the fact that Fly is so far ahead. Look at his level advantage as well. Like,
oh no.
He's doing very well. That being said, now oh, I've seen this one before. Is this a replay? Is this another? He does get the Mega Gnar this time, but it's not going to be enough. Bang's going to grab that. An Unbreakable Will from Lehens does mean that everyone is able to stay alive.
Yes, but you trade 1 kill and presumably a turret for more gold on Aphelios.
True.
And also
map position and objectives.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I don't think this is a trade you take, but I'm glad you asked. Is the state of Afrika right now good? No, it's not, because Afrika, as we saw in game number 1 and game number 2, are a team which is incredibly dominant when they find the lead, but their setup in the mid to late game, their macro decision making and their objective control has not been great. Even within this series, even with a deserved win, right, and 1 win that they should have gotten but then didn't get. And that in of itself kind of tells the story of Afrika. They're now at a deficit into a T1, which has an disgusting team composition to fight into. Yes, you have the Zillion. Yes, Keen has a lot of high-value ultimates. And yes, you have a fed Bang, but we've seen these situations happen before. And if it's even remotely close, it's not looking good, because while you have all those things on one side for Afrika, on the other hand, we have Seraphine.
Yeah.
And I mean, we mean a lot about Seraphine, right? But in this specific type of composition where you are looking, you have the front line, you have a strong front to back, you have characters who are really augmented by her, and you have Teddy, which is one of the best team fighting AD carries, who is fed, as Kana is probably going to die again because he goes mini and he has no business being this far up.
Well, we'll see whether Lehens does pop over and try and stop him here. As you can see, Fly's going to turn up, but I don't know whether that's quite going to be enough. Points for patience here, definitely. For Lehens, as Kerry is just going to spot the cow. Sorry, Kana is going to spot the cow, as there's the headbutt back. Dread is going to turn up, though. And is it going to be 3 deaths very, very quickly? The answer is no, as Cuz is booking it here towards the bottom side. He's going to get stunned up by the Everfrost as the bombs are put down. And that is going to stop the Udyr from being able to move any further forward. That's a very deep teleport coming out from Keen. But all of T1 just move all the way out of the way. This Cloud Drake, T1 say you're welcome to it, and they'll take down this inner turret. Maybe they'll get the inhibitor turret as well.
Chakrams are available. I'm pretty sure they can.
Yeah.
If they want to go for it. It is a risk though, but they do have a great front to back. I think theoretically they can go for this. They just need to stall a little bit so that the turret is gone.
Yep, they might actually have enough Mega Nut timing as well. They absolutely do. Because now, as long as T1 keep it together, exactly what they need to do. They need to fight in a ball. That's how Seraphine works so well. There's the Narbak into the dead turret. Bang! Has to use his ult. He has the chrono shift as well, and he's desperately trying to die. Does so. Gets down into that ultimate. Bang now. But, oh no, it's just not enough. Cuz is just going to solo him out there on the back line. And T1, they have a front door open. They can just end the game in almost sub 20 minutes. Teddy, so close to death, but he's alive.
Oh, they don't have a wave. No, they can't. They couldn't.
There's a cow and a horse between them and victory right now. All right, well, we're getting to work on the first Nexus turret. These death timers are not large. 10 seconds on Keen as Dread now with full health back up again. And T1, they take one Nexus turret. Now they're looking to back away.
Listen, I'm not a fan of Tom Kench, but non-ironically, like, Carrier's playing it so well. Because you can see the impunity with which T1 can move up, and that's a beautiful sandwich that they create there, where Afrika is.
What's the sandwich got in it?
That's a. Okay, I need. Do you want like
a pastrami sandwich? One of the really good pastrami sandwiches.
Sure. Does that?
Oh yeah. I'll show you the place. Okay. There's a place just up the road. It's really good.
That sounds lovely. There's a lot of meat to this composition. I guess Faker is the pickles, like providing that intense flavor.
Oh, yeah.
And as long as Teddy's alive, which I guess is your cheese dip.
Who's the bread?
Completely fine. It's Carrier. He's keeping it all
Carrier's
together.
the bread? Yeah, that's okay. I can feel it.
It's Cuz and Carrier, right? Like they sandwich everyone between them.
Is pickle really a sandwich thing though? Like
I don't know.
It sounds like a burger option.
I guess. I
mean, here in Korea we get pickle with everything. So I'm starting to get confused.
You kind of caught me off guard with the sandwich thing. I'm just scrambling for like
You were talking about sandwiches, okay?
Yeah, but sandwiching as in like they are sandwiched between a team and an inhibitor and their base. Not
okay,
wait,
now I get it.
Wait, are you kidding?
No, I'm definitely kidding.
Oh my god. I don't know. Maybe it's a language barrier.
Yeah, my Australian just didn't quite have me prepared.
No, maybe I said something wrong. I don't know.
No. You were fine. I think this actually worked out far better than if you had have just made your point, to be honest.
Well, I tend to agree. As Baron now gets started up, the health bars are going to stay high. That's the virtue of Seraphine right there. Afrika, they need this Baron.
Oh, look at T1. They decide not to flip it Baron.
Oh my god.
Hopefully some notes are being taken right now on the other side of the Rift, as Afrika will deal with this Swift Minion wave. And they have to, right? Because with one Nexus turret down, that's actually really important because one wave can actually get through that now. So they need to be forever tidying. That being said, mid lane definitely the easiest one to keep on top of. But a 6,000 gold lead. We've got a minute and 45 seconds approximately here for T1 until the next Drake is up, and it's an Ocean Soul.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if T1 get it, I don't think that there is any way that Afrika wins any team fight at all.
Ever. No.
It's too hard.
Non-ironically, I think at that point, if you just put Teddy and Carrier in the lane, you have the rest of Afrika running, they'll be fine. I don't know the exact math on that one.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly certain that at that point in time, like the game is pretty much over as Afrika. But considering the strength of this team, I don't think you want to get to that point. The problem here is this is all or nothing for Afrika. We gave them They have a 1% chance to basically still make it to playoffs, right? With all the different permutations, everything needs to go right. But in the way of that stance, they need a victory here. There is no losing. If you lose here, you're definitely out of playoffs. The fact that this far into the tournament, we still have runs for playoffs, I think is
That's really cool, right? Yeah.
That's amazing.
We've often seen the final week not really have very much to do with it, but that's absolutely not the case. This is going to be our first team eliminated from playoffs if Afrika cannot win this game. As Lehend's looking for the wraparound. And we've got 35 seconds. It looks like T1 are just going to go for the Baron instead of even grabbing this Drake. And remember, like, this is just one Ocean Drake. Both teams only have one Dragon so far. The Dragons were actually very, very late. And so T1 don't really need to fight for this one necessarily, as Lehend's is standing on a ward as well. T1 have all the information that they need. And Canna has teleport. He can get here if he wants to, as now Cuz is walking underneath his turret. This is a little bit dangerous, getting slowed down a lot. But yeah, I mean, I say it's dangerous, but he's Udyr, and he's very tanky right now. Moves very quickly. And yes, Afrika do manage to grab that turret. And now in a better position for this Drake that has just spawned. Looks like they're not going to go for it.
The real problem here is in the top lane, because Canna is legitimately just split pushing as long as he wants to. And I don't think you can get away with both here, ST1, where you pick up the inhibitor and the Baron, or the Drake, but you can definitely get one of them depending on what Afrika does here. They decide to back off though, and in the end, no one does
like the
anything.
Dragon doesn't exist. Dragon really has been largely ignored so far. Which is a little bit sad. Okay, Keen just going to throw his Everfrost into this wave and tidies that one up very quickly. Now Afrika need to get themselves into vision clearing mode. Make sure that T1 can't take any free Barons or anything like that. Faker feeling very comfortable right now with all of the vision they have on the top side of the map. So he can just push another wave forward. So the inhibitor has now respawned and Afrika can breathe a little bit easier. That being said, not very much easier. Skeen dashes out of the way.
And the problem for me is that unless Afrika like 100-0 someone or Carrier isn't there, as this is a really nice setup with Bang taking that, but they are at threat of getting engaged on.
Yeah, T1 could actually force right now as Cuz looking for Lehens. Beat drop, not actually going to connect here as Bang will finish off the Drake. He's taken a little bit of damage, but not too much to worry about, especially with Killer Instinct's shield. As T1 now have the inside track on moving towards this inhibitor, but I think they want to probably break open another lane. Try and add more pressure. Just taking the inhibitor doesn't seem to do too much here as now Cuz comes on over, gets a little bit of a stun onto Lehens, but he's not exactly the priority target here to be taking out first. But T1, I mean, they don't take a lot of damage in these fights as Carrier, that grey health now starting to stack back up. Cannon not going to get slowed down and stunned by the Everfrost. Now Cuz sitting at about 2/3, but that is going to change very quickly. Faker still sitting on that empowered W. He can throw it out whenever he would like to.
And here you see the one weakness of the T1 composition. They don't actually have a lot of reliable engage. It's literally Canna running up, or sorry, Cuz running up, or Canna finding a flank with Mega Knotful. And that's basically it. And that's why you can see Afrika make these moves, because they do have the go buttons, right? They have both the sped up Hecarim as well as an Alistair, which is as good as it gets in terms of hard engage. And it basically means that all the T1 can do is like go in situations like this, which hopefully should be able to.
Well, here's the Abyssal Voyage as Cuz is in relatively close proximity. But he's by himself right now. The Baron is going down pretty slowly, however.
Cuz is up a level.
Yeah, I've seen this from Afrika before, but Cuz is going to get exhausted. Can he get in and steal his weight? The answer is no. That's a brilliant Pulverizer's Bang immediately there. Faker going to go golden, though. He's buying so much time as Teddy. Not dead just yet, but finally does get taken down. But the answer is the Hecarim and the Kai'Sa out of the fight. The Zillion also obliterated. Keen trying to be a hero, but the answer is absolutely no way, my friend. Lehens, it's him against the world, but there is one Nexus turret and one inhibitor between Afrika's life in playoffs and not.
The Catfish is fishing for Lehens, but all he needs to do is cancel the backs. The push is coming in here, and T1, even though they found Teddy there, Faker staying alive for that long is more than enough to get it done here. Pushes are coming in, but with Bang coming up soon, I don't actually think that T1 can.
Yeah, the death time may not be long enough, and actually they're going to leave this inhibitor unkilled just so that they can deny the freezes.
Listen, Afrika is down this much gold, and they're still making it work. That's just beautiful.
I mean, they managed to get this this Baron. This is still a 50-50 though, so we're not exactly super happy with how this one went, but Lehens, my god. I mean, there was no better way to start this fight off, but it just wasn't enough.
Listen, if Keen hits that knockback into the wall, this fight is over, like, immediately.
Yeah.
The problem is that both Dread and Bang on top of Teddy is actually too much damage. Fortunately, with Kana there, they actually do take him down, and then once you're in this stage of the team fight where both carries are removed, the lack of effective DPS basically just means that T1 wins, right? Because they have Seraphine. Like, it's as easy as that. And we see again the limitation. T1, they are kind of forced to just straight up run into Afrika, and the reason why it's working out is one, Encore, and secondly, Carrier having impeccable devours. And as long as Teddy or Faker stay alive and they get rid of Bang, T1 can win team fights, but it is still contentious. It's not a straight cut, because you might look at this gold lead and take a look at these teams and think this is definitely over.
Well,
I wouldn't count on it.
He's going to get level 14 now. I mean, the Hecarim is still very strong, like you were talking about, and he's going to go. Lehens looking for that flank plays. That's the stolen encore onto T1. Carrier still trying to tank this one up, but the Aphelios is largely untouched, and oh no, Keen was going in for it, then immediately gets gnawed back. Beautiful defensive play as the Aphelios picks up yet another kill. He is taken down, but now it's 2 versus 4, and I think Afrika may just be done, as Cuz is going to chase down Fly. He's going to have to kill him a couple of times, but there's no flash, and I just don't think he's going anywhere. Good Everfrost, but that is goodbye Inhibitor, and the rest of T1 is looking to just end this game.
And Hecarim is so insanely strong. You see it there again. The only reason that Teddy stayed alive for all of that, the coordinated dive, the encore from Keen, is Carrier, right? Like without that, we mean Tom Kent so much, because it's such a, I don't know, like if it was a sandwich, it would be a bad one, but in this scenario, it's just the ingredient you need, right? He is this tasty and firm bun that keeps it all together, and T1, they fight a crucial victory in Afrika, unfortunately.
If you have the right condiments, any sandwich